would argue that 90 to 95% of the time they are prescribed, it's incorrectly prescribed. And this idea that more serotonin is helpful for depression is not only incorrect, but I would argue, just like what you said before, it's actually counterproductive for a lot of guys. And this, if we are going to be looking at one neurotransmitter that's really important for men's mental health, it is dopamine. We can't really just isolate and go, oh, it's just this one neurotransmitter that fixes things. But if we were going to apply a reductionist lens to it, it would be that one. And the reason for that, and this is what I found in my life, and also, in theory and in working with other guys, the real way that we can treat and I would argue cure, depression, anxiety, listlessness, anhedonia, which is when people don't feel pleasure from things, is for men. I don't know a thing about women in any regard, but I know about men. And what I know about men is what helps men is momentum and feeling like we're moving forward and we're on a mission and we're accomplishing something and maybe we're aiming towards something that's just outside of our comfort zone. And ideally where we want to be at is we want to be kind of like halfway down that path already, like being on the path to something that we're working towards. I think that's very therapeutic for the majority of men. And when testosterone is low and we lack that biological internal resilience to stress, not only is that very difficult to do, but it's also very unappealing. One thing that gets thrown around a lot is that testosterone makes effort feel good. And the question is, like, how does it do that? It acts as an internal buffer towards cortisol and adrenaline. So if you're doing something that's, let's say, outside of your comfort zone, it's challenging, it's meant to drive stress. It's meant to be difficult. It's meant to be something that makes you feel uncomfortable. But there's also meant to be this other path where this is this dopaminergic transmission, which is going, yeah, this is hard, but the reward feels good and I want to work towards this. I'm okay taking a risk. Yes, it's challenging, but it's something that I want to achieve because it's meaningful. If you lack that, things just feel really difficult and things feel scary and people go towards the path of least resistance. They go towards the avoidant kind of behaviors. And then what happens over time is if you are that guy at 18, by the time you get to 30, if this is what you've done over that developmental formative period of your life where, between 18 and 30, you're meant to be forming your identity as a man, you're meant to be going out and, taking on risks and leaving a mark in the world. And, this is where guys are typically more risk-taking and reckless and, wanting to just have a crack at things. Mm-hmm. I think if you don't do that and you get to 30 and you're the guy who didn't do that and spent the last 12 years watching porn and playing video games and not having much to show for yourself, I think not only does the life that you end up building become a depressive and anxious life to live, but you also feel a degree of this guilt and shame for it.